bagi kalian untuk menutup hutang sesuai dengan kemampuan kalian. Selain itu, kalian juga perlu menentukan utang mana yang harus kalian dahulukan untuk dilunasi. Selain itu, penting juga untuk selalu menyesuaikan dengan uang tunai yang kalian miliki. Tips selanjutnya yaitu tips yang ketiga. Jadi kalian penting sekali untuk menekan biaya bulanan nih sobat investor. Jadi kalian juga memang harus memangkas kebutuhan yang memang sifatnya hanya pelengkap saja. Dan penting sekali bagi kalian untuk mempertahankan biaya bulanan yang sifatnya memang untuk kebutuhan utama kalian. Tips yang keempat terkait dengan pengelolaan aset. Jadi jika ternyata penghasilan yang kalian miliki ini tidak bisa menutup kebutuhan kalian, maka kalian bisa mempertimbangkan untuk menjual aset yang kalian miliki. Tips yang kelima, jangan lupa sisihkan sekitar 10% dari penghasilan kalian untuk ditabung di tiap bulannya. Dan saat keadaan keuangan kalian sedang sulit, tidak menjadi alasan untuk gagal mencapai impian. Jangan lupa ya, harus selalu rajin dan juga disiplin dalam menabung sobat investor.
The Financial System Stability Committee, or KSSK, ensures that the stability of the national financial system remains good. Bank Rakyat Indonesia recorded a positive performance during first semester. Hello, good evening. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of information from business, economic, and capital market sectors. And as the pandemic is still ongoing, we will provide you the latest COVID-19 information. Please stay safe by taking some simple precautions, such as physical distancing, wearing a face mask, avoiding crowds, cleaning your hands, and having less mobility. I'm Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. The Financial System Stability Committee, or KSSK, ensures that the stability of the national financial system remains good amid pandemic. KSSK ensured to continue to closely monitor the corporations that were more severely affected to avoid risks to the financial system. The Financial System Stability Committee, or KSSK, ensures that the financial system situation at the end of the first semester remains stable, even though it is still accompanied by uncertainty. The head of KSSK, who is also the Minister of Finance, Sri Mulyani, ensured that all KSSK members also continue to monitor the developments of the impact of the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is expected to put pressure on the business sector again. Sri Mulyani revealed that the risks that arise in the business sector that are of concern are the risks of credit restructuring, as well as the increase or PKPU and bankruptcy. This is considered important. If it is not monitored, KSSK is concerned that it will disrupt the stability of the national financial system.
Untuk dari sisi ekonomi, korporasi kita lihat sektor per subsektor mana yang paling cepat recover dan mana yang mungkin perlu waktu. Kemudian kita juga lihat risiko-risiko yang muncul. Termasuk yang kita sekarang perhatikan adalah risiko dari restructuring PKPU dan juga terjadinya kenaikan PKPU dan kepailitan. Ini salah satu yang sekarang kami sedang melakukan monitoring secara cukup detail, sehingga nanti kita akan bisa merespon secara tepat.
Not only that, KSSK also continues to monitor corporations based on sectoral inability to recover faster, so that KSSK can prepare anticipatory policies that are faster and more efficient. Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo, IDX Channel. The OJK acknowledged the slow credit growth performance as a result of the weak demand for credit in banks by large debtors. However, OJK ensures that intermediation in the financial system is not only from banks. The Financial Services Authority, or OJK, ensures that the intermediation function in the financial system is maintained, even though banks have not channeled as much credit as expected. In general, this could not be separated from the decline in demand for credit in banks by large debtors. The chairman of OJK Board of Commissioners, Wimbo Santoso, revealed that there are at least 10 large debtors in national banking that are the focus of supervision. These 10 debtors came from the business sector that was heavily affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, with a total credit of 381.6 trillion rupiah in the period March 2020 to June 2021.
Bahkan sekarang mereka bukan hanya kredit perbankan. Mereka mengeluarkan surat utang di pasar modal cukup besar. Sehingga di pasar modal kami sampaikan tadi di tahun ini saja sampai Juli sudah 116 triliun racing fund di pasar modal. Sehingga sebenarnya kalau intermediasinya digabungkan antara perbankan dan pasar modal, ini menjadi satu intermediasi yang luar biasa angkanya. Dan ini adalah best practice bahwa sebenarnya pembiayaan atau kredit itu bisa digabungkan antara kredit perbankan dan pasar modal.
Wimbo added bank lending in June 2021 increased by 67.39 trillion rupiah compared to the previous month. This is accompanied by a downward trend in loan interest rate. Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo, IDX Channel. Bank Indonesia reported that foreign exchange reserves at the end of July 2021 rose to $137.3 billion. The governor of Bank of Indonesia believes that this amount is still sufficient and is considered safe in anticipating global uncertainties. Bank Indonesia noted that foreign exchange reserves in the end of July 2021 rose to $137.3 billion. This is ascertained to make financial system stability stronger. The governor of Bank of Indonesia, Periwarjo, believes that this amount is sufficient to anticipate uncertainty on the external sides and the exchange rate. Berry explained that the foreign exchange reserve position is equivalent to financing 8.9 months of imports or 8.6 months of imports and payment of government foreign debt. This position is also above the international adequacy standard of about 3 months of imports. The central bank reported that the increase in foreign exchange reserves was also influenced by the issuance of government global bonds as well as tax and service revenues.
Cadangan devisa 137,1 miliar dolar Amerika Serikat di akhir Juli itu lebih dari cukup untuk menjaga stabilitas eksternal, stabilitas nilai tukar kita. Kenapa? 137,1 miliar itu setara dengan 9,2 bulan import.
Bank Indonesia ensures that foreign exchange reserves are still able to support external sector resilience and maintain macroeconomic and financial system stability. The central bank also views that future foreign exchange reserves will remain adequate, supported by stability and maintained economic prospects. Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo, IDX Channel. Moving on to global update, Greece's Prime Minister has talked of a nightmarish summer as forest fires continue to ravage the country. Meanwhile, still from European zone, fully vaccinated people can now visit friends without quarantining on their return to the UK. More stories on today's International Minute.
Virgin Atlantic is exploring a possible listing on the London stock market to raise money to repair the airline's finance. The move could see shares offered to private investors as well as big city firms, but mean he loses overall control of his flagship business. Virgin Group owns 51% of the airlines and US-based Delta Airlines the rest. It is understood Virgin has hired city advisors to draw up flotation plans, but the airline called it speculation. Fully vaccinated people can now visit France without quarantining on their return to the UK after travel rule change came into force. Brittany Verais said it had received a surge of bookings following the rule changes announced on Thursday. But travel agents said the relaxations of quarantine for one of the UK's most popular destinations came too late to save the summer. Saudi Arabia is to begin accepting vaccinated foreign visitors to the holy cities of Mecca and Medina as a part of the Umrah pilgrimage. The authorities will begin taking travel requests from Monday. The kingdom closed its borders some 18 months ago because of the coronavirus pandemic. Since 1st August, vaccinated foreign tourists are also allowed in. Last month, only around 60,000 vaccinated residents were allowed to take part in a scaled-down Hajj. Greece Prime Minister has talked of a nightmarish summer as forest fires continue to ravage the country. Thousands have been evacuated from their homes, and more than 100 firefighters have been deployed to bring the flames under control, which is experiencing its worst heatwave in more than 30 years. IDX Channel reports.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Presiden Joko Widodo memiliki optimisme yang tinggi terkait dengan proses vaksinasi nasional yang sedang dilakukan saat ini. Bagaimana tanggapan dari pengusaha dengan angka ini?
Tentu membuat kita harus lebih berhati-hati.
Langkah apa yang tepat dilakukan untuk bisa meningkatkan pemahaman masyarakat?
Komunikasi publik adalah kunci. Jadi kita harus bisa menunjukkan kepada masyarakat bahwa vaksinasi itu penting.
Dari kecil aku udah banyak main di laut, banyak belajar diving, surfing, snorkeling, free diving gitu. Jadi hidupku tuh emang udah banyak dikelilingin laut gitu. Bisa memperkenalkan keindahan laut ke orang-orang.
Suka dan dukanya apa sih, Diandra?
Kayak suka dukanya yang paling utama pasti dengan adanya pandemi ini ya. Akhirnya sejak pandemi kita mikir apakah kita harus berhenti nanti lanjutin lagi setelah pandemi atau kita lanjutin terus nih.
Kebijakan PPKM darurat akan berdampak besar pada pendapatan masyarakat. Dampak lonjakan kasus COVID-19 yang ternyata menyebabkan daya beli masyarakat semakin melemah.
Berdasarkan pengamatan 90 kota, terjadi deflasi sebesar 0,16%.
Nah, ini terkait dengan investasi, bagaimana sebetulnya dinamika investasi di tengah pandemi dan PPKM darurat, Mang?
Sebenarnya saham ini
Welcome back. The Institute for Development of Economics and Finance, or INDEF, calls Indonesia's economic growth in the second quarter this year as pseudo-economic growth. INDEF says economic growth of 7.07% was due to using a low base in 2020.
The Indonesian economy recorded satisfactory growth in the second quarter of 2021, where growth was recorded at 7.07% compared to the second quarter of 2020 at 5.3%. Unfortunately, the Institute for Development of Economics and Finance economists considers this growth to be pseudo-economic growth because it uses a low base in 2020. InDev also emphasized that economic growth has not returned to normal conditions when compared to the average growth before the pandemic in 2018 to 2019. The second quarter of 2021 only grew 3.87%. InDev also equates that it's happening in Indonesia with other countries. Not only Indonesia, trading partner countries are also same after the previous year experienced a deeper contraction. Even China could grow by 18.3% in the first quarter of 2021 from minus 6.8% in the first quarter of 2020. Singapore 14% in the second quarter of 2021 from the previous minus 13.3% in the second quarter of 2020. IDX Channel reports.
Euphoria was echoed by a number of parties, especially the government, after the announcement of the realization of Indonesia's economic growth in the second quarter of 2021. However, does the 7% growth rate mean that the Indonesian economy has recovered and getting stronger? Let's examine it in these following infographics. The first one is Indonesia or Indonesian economic growth from first quarter 2020 to the second quarter of 2021. The first quarter before the pandemic, Indonesia's economic growth was on the level 2.97%, and it was slumped significantly to minus 5.32% in the second quarter, and the number keeps on increasing to the level of minus 0.71% in the first quarter of 2021, and the second quarter of 2021 it has reached the level of 7.07%. And not only superficial, the economic growth that has penetrated the 7-point figure is considered by entrepreneurs to be still not having an impact on a number of economic challenges such as job creation and poverty. Based on BPS data, the unemployment rate has almost penetrated 9.77 million, or around 7.7%. Even though Indonesia has escaped the brink of recession, this is different under normal circumstances. Economic growth requires clear quality with reference to indicators of employment and poverty rates. Meanwhile, from a sectoral perspective, what is the growth rate by sector in Indonesia? Let's see the data on the next graphic. This is GDP growth by business field in the second quarter, of course, 2021. Agriculture grew by 0.38%. Construction grew by 4.22%. Trade, 9.44%. Mining, 5.22%. Manufacturing, 6.58%. And other sectors, as much as 10.37%. The sector that we highlight is the construction sector, including real estate, after having slumped in the second quarter of 2020, which only showed growth of 5.39%. The pace of business growth in the construction sector finally improved in the same period in 2021, which was 4.43%. According to BPS, this construction growth was supported by the realization of government capital expenditure for construction, which increased by 50.22%. From the sector or business field, let's examine GDP growth based on the expenditure in the next graphic. Household, 5.93%. Non-profit consumption, 4.12%. Government spending, 8.06%. And gross fixed capital formation, 7.54%. Meantime, for export performance, it was outnumbered the import performance. It was on the level of 31.78%. Meantime, for the import performance, it was on the level of 31.22%. We compiled the data, of course, once again from BPS. Minister of Trade Muhammad Lutfi enthusiastically welcomes Indonesia's economic growth in the second quarter of 2021. According to him, exports and imports are components of expenditure in gross domestic product, with the highest positive growth during April to June 2021. Its growth momentum must be maintained. In order to accelerate the recovery of the national economy, the Minister Lutfi added that import growth of 31.22% illustrates that the industry is starting to stretch and rise. This can be seen from the percentage of imports of auxiliary raw materials and capital materials, which amounted to 90.1% in the second quarter
this year. And next, we're going to check the data related to the contribution of economic growth by regions. In the next graphic, GDP growth and contribution by region. Java, as you can see, held the position as the highest region that contribute a lot of number to Indonesia's GDP growth, as much as you can see, the contribution and the growth. The contribution as much as 57.92%, Sumatera 21.73%, Kalimantan 8.21%, Sulawesi 6.88%, Bali Nusa Tenggara 2.85%, and Maluku 2.41%. And the Central Statistic Agency noted that the special structure of the Indonesian economy in the second quarter of 2021 is still dominated by Java. Unfortunately, with a contribution of 57.92%, Java's economic growth is only 7.88%. However, Bank Mandiri economist Faisal Rahman said that Java's skyrocketing economic growth was the result of restrictions of community activities since 2020, as well as vaccinations and support for the national economic recovery stimulus. And yes, hopefully this positive economic growth will continue, and of course, the positive impacts will soon be felt. Stay tuned on Market Headlines because we'll be right back after the break.
Anugerah Inovasi Indonesia 2021. Segera di IDX Channel.
Pemerintah semakin percaya diri mampu merealisasikan ekspektasi pertumbuhan yang tinggi.
Kita lihat dari PMI market, kita sudah mencapai yang tertinggi.
Kementerian Keuangan memastikan tidak akan mengenakan PPN pada barang kebutuhan pokok.
Berbeda ketika sembako ini sifatnya premium.
Pemerintah kembali memutuskan untuk memperpanjang pemberlakuan pembatasan kegiatan masyarakat atau PPKM skala mikro.
Biden mengatakan Amerika Serikat akan membagikan setidaknya 20 juta dosis vaksin COVID-19 resmi Amerika Serikat.
Apakah ini lagi-lagi akan menjadi sentimen yang cukup positif atau justru sepertinya bisa jadi tidak sesignifikan sebelumnya?
Menurut saya sih kalau dilihat cerminan pasar beberapa hari terakhir sih nggak ada efeknya.
Dan indeks harga saham gabungan ditutup di level 5.833.860 dan ini merupakan level terendah dalam beberapa bulan terakhir.
Proses penilaian IDX Channel Anugerah Inovasi melihat beberapa indikator, diantaranya adalah dampak dari inovasi terhadap perusahaan, kemudian sustainability, kemampu terapan perusahaan, serta kita melihat dari sisi originalitas dari ide itu. Pemenang-pemenang dari ajang ini tidak berhenti untuk melakukan inovasi, melainkan terus mendorong inovasi itu untuk selalu menjadi yang terbaik, selalu menjadi yang terbaru, dan untuk mengantisipasi perubahan yang ada di dalam lingkungan bisnis.
Nantikan Anugerah Inovasi Indonesia 2021 segera di IDX Channel.
Welcome back. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was opened at the level of 6,215.04. Then approaching the closing time of the session, the index was on the level of 6,194.46. The index was showing weakening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,127.46. In short, JCI went down 1.22%. Next, we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got transportation and logistics as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 2.24%. Cyclical went up 0.71%, basic went down 0.02%, and health went down 1.57%. And this is the top gainers and top losers. Here are the key highlights from today's trading session. Buka went up 4.72% to level 1,110 per share. BBKP went up 0.84% to the level of 600 per share. BANK went up 8.17% to the level of 3,840 per share. BGTG went up 1.28% to the level of 316 per share. And meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got BBYB went down 1.56% to the level of 1,575 rupiah per share. BACA went down 3.7% to the level of 520 rupiah per share. BABP went down 5.56% to the level of 570 rupiah per share. And Agro went down 6.87% to the level of 2,440 rupiah per share. And this is the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Opened at the level of 14,339 rupiah, was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar, was closed at the level of 14,364. In summary, rupiah went down 0.24%. Supported by increased revenue, Bank Rakyat Indonesia recorded a positive performance throughout 6 months. The company posted a net profit of 12.54 trillion rupiah.
Supported by increased revenue, Bank Rakyat Indonesia managed to record a positive performance. BRI posted a net profit of 12.54 trillion rupiah, up 22.94% on an annual basis. The financial report shows the company posted an annual growth of 29.15% in net interest income to 47.14 trillion rupiah. This is due to the increase in interest income as well as the interest expense of funds, which has been cut quite well in the midst of the decline in central bank's benchmark interest rate. The company was also able to record revenues from commissions, provisions, fees and administration quite well, around 9.5% to 8.17 trillion rupiah. IDX Channel report.
Supported by higher revenue achievements, Barito Pacific successfully obtained 1.38 trillion rupiah net profit in the first semester of 2021.
Barito Pacific managed to record a positive performance in the first semester of 2021 because both revenue and net profit increased. The financial report as of June 2021 shows that the company posted revenue of 1.55 billion US dollar, or equivalent to 22.62 trillion rupiah. The revenue rose 40.93% year-on-year from $1.1 billion as of June 2020. The company's cost of revenue increased to $496.27 million. However, its gross profit still rose to $496.27 million US dollar as of June 2021. In the first half of 2021, Barito posted a net profit for the period of $95.49 million, or around 1.38 trillion rupiah. The net profit was reversed from the previous net loss of $14.53 million in the first half of 2020. IDX Channel report.
Adaro Energy recorded a 5% decline in coal sales volume to 25.78 million tons in the first semester of 2021.
Adaro Energy recorded a 5% decline in coal sales volume to 25.78 million tons in the first semester of 2021. The company's coal production volume fell 3% to 26.49 million tons. Based on official information, the decline in production was due to bad weather during the rainy season during the first semester of 2021, which resulted in a tightening of supply in Indonesia. The decline was also affected by the delay in the delivery of heavy equipment. In terms of production, Adaro recorded a 12% increase in overburden removal to reach 115.22 million bank cubic meters in the first semester of 2021. This is in line with the company's guidance to increase overburden removal this year. IDX Channel reports.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economic situation, and here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. As the COVID-19 pandemic is still going on, keep protecting your family by following the health protocols, wearing face masks, keep your distance and stay away from crowds, and wash your hands through running water. And also continue to support the vaccination program to accelerate the creation of herd immunity. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.